Alfredo Trevio, killer doctor inspired Hannibal Lecter. Only Hannibal Lecter, the vicious psychiatrist from Thomas Harris's 1981 book Red Dragon, elicits a more emotional response than any fictional figure. He has appeared in several novels, movies, and television shows, with Anthony Hopkins' portrayal of him in 1991's The Silence of the Lambs being voted the best movie villain of all time in 2003 by the American Film Institute. The fact that Hannibal the Cannibal was based on a real person whose heinous crimes went beyond the realm of fiction and into our everyday lives is even more horrifying than seeing the films and reading the books that chronicle his adventures as the cannibal. I was 23 years old when I first went to the Nuevo León State Jail in Monterrey to interview Dykes Askew Simmons, an American who had been convicted of murder and was serving a life sentence. Harris wrote in the foreword to the 25th anniversary edition of his novel The Silence of the Lambs. Harris was drawn to the doctor who'd treated the American after he'd been injured during a failed jailbreak because of Simmons' creepy eyes and poor Z plasty correcting a cleft lip. Dr. Salazar was a small, lean guy with dark red hair, who had a certain grace about him, according to Harris, who met him at the jail medical office. The doctor finally came to life when he asked the reporter about Simmons' deformed look after receiving a few bland responses. Dr. Salazar turned out to be an inmate, contrary to what Harris had believed, and Harris was shocked to find this later in the day. Alfredo Trevio was the real-life Salazar of Harris's narrative, according to biographies in the Times of the United Kingdom and the Latin Times. At an early age, his stern father pushed him and his brothers to thrive in their academic pursuits. During a medical internship in 1959, Trevio and Jess Castillo Rangel got into an altercation about money or Rangel's insistence on marrying someone else. He murdered his lover, dismembered him with a sharp knife, and tried to bury the body parts in a box on the family property. In 1961, Trevio was condemned to die for his crime of passion when his work was discovered. It is believed that hitchhikers were killed and dismembered at his hands, although these charges have never been substantiated. In jail, the werewolf of Nuevo León apparently continued to demonstrate a fine sartorial sense with his light-colored clothes and black sunglasses, as well as his gold Rolex watch. While in jail, he also ran an informal medical practice, caring to other inmates as well as local residents. When Trevio was released from prison after serving 20 years, he returned to his former neighborhood in Monterrey to treat the ill and the underprivileged, sometimes for free. In 2008, only months before he died of prostate cancer, he consented to an interview with a newspaper but refused to discuss his violent background. Anecdotes abound as to why Harris was moved to develop such a memorable figure before he revealed his fatal trip to a Mexican jail. Lecter was compared to serial murderers Ted Bundy and Edmund Kemper, as well as cannibal Issei Sagawa, by a group of homicide investigators familiar with Harris in Tulsa World in 1999. It also addressed William Coyner, a cannibal killer from the 1940s and 50s who was well known to Harris and his associates in Mississippi. However, despite Harris's admission that Lecter wasn't totally based on Salazar, Trevio, the Mexican doctor's enduring impact as the monster of his books took form in Harris's imagination remains undeniable.